Hello everyone, welcome back to the Popped channel. Today we are diving into the highly anticipated return of Doctor Who and looking at the Robot Revolution, the first episode of Doctor Who Season 2. This early, spoiler-free review was made possible by Popped, receiving an advanced screener of the very first episode of Doctor Who. So thank you to the BBC and Disney for making this review possible. After what has felt like the longest 4 months in Whoniverse history, Doctor Who is finally back. A brand new season, a brand new companion, and the same blue box, full of potential as Ncuti Gatwa returns as the 15th Doctor, joined by a very welcome newcomer. Varada Setu as Belinda Chandra, a nurse with grit, heart, and a sharp tongue. Varada is a revelation as new companion Belinda Chandra. She's a no-nonsense nurse introduced through a spirited chase sequence that begins on Earth and quickly escalates across the stars. From the moment the Doctor starts searching for her, she commands attention. She's witty, skeptical, emotionally grounded, and it's a real joy watching her match Gatwa's Doctor beat for beat. Their dynamic leans into distrust and uncertainty, making for an electric pairing. Quite the contrast from Ruby and the Doctor in Season 1. She's not in awe of the Doctor whatsoever. She's very cautious. She outright calls him dangerous, and yet their connection already hums with potential. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know that the marketing has really kicked into high gear recently, and we got those wonderful episode title announcements, just like with Season 1. The setting for this episode was clearly listed as Planet Belinda, and yep, the first episode is partially set on a planet that will share a name with our brand new companion. I think I'm safe saying that without Disney or the BBC sending a Dalek to exterminate me, so hopefully I'm here for next week's episode. It's a very clever and fun way to really bring Belinda into the fold of the episode. Setu shines in every scene, especially when going toe-to-toe with the Doctor. If this is the start of her journey, and hopefully a long one in Doctor Who, it is a really promising one. I already had hope after her appearance in last year's Boom, but there's something about Belinda that feels even more special. I would argue that out of the full sort of 45-minute premiere, Belinda Chandra is the highlight, easily. Ncuti is once again on form in the premiere, continuing his empathetic and vibrant performance from the 2024 Christmas special Joy to the World. After his initial search mission, we find him on Belinda's planet, acting as a historian. There are some slight shades of Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor in one scene that genuinely stands out for me. He gives Belinda a powerful rundown of what's been going on, and let me tell you, there is quite a lot going on this planet. We get some really interesting scenes and developments, but I'm not going to dive into them with too much detail. Of course, Anita Dobson is also back as the enigmatic Mrs. Flood. She's still breaking the fourth wall. She's still keeping her cards very close to her. However, this time we see her, she is in fact Belinda's neighbour. I think it's quite funny. She's hopping from companion to companion. I'd love to know who her landlord is and how she's getting away with this. She's obviously not met the Doctor yet. However, I would expect a lot of fireworks when she does. In terms of the episode, there's a really brilliant setup in the Robot Revolution. There's a fast-paced opening, we get some really fun world building and a real sense of stakes. But as we approach the climax, some of the storytelling stumbles. Without spoilers, it feels like one of those RTD episodes where the ideas start really strong, but inevitably they're going to tangle themselves near the finish line. We get an emotional beat with Doctor tearing up, cue the internet joy, and there's clearly social commentary woven in throughout the episode. The Robot Revolution isn't just about machines and rebels, it dives into entitlement, control, and anxieties about being replaced. Real world echoes of toxic masculinity and AI fears are there too, but the execution ends up a bit clunky, and our villains lean into caricature territory, which was really frustrating. Russell T Davies still brings those big, bold ideas and emotionally charged character drama, but balancing both in one episode remains a challenge. Ironically, some of the best recent episodes, like Boom and Rogue, weren't even written by the showrunner. This season, though, there are more writers contributing, which is certainly a promising sign, and if Season 1's Ruby Road mystery fizzled out with whimsy, Season 2 is already planning something weightier, including a mysterious date, the 24th of May 2025. It's subtle throughout the premiere, but significant and hints at a more cohesive arc for Season 2. We've seen it in the preview material, we've seen it in the trailers. Something big is coming for the Doctor and Belinda, but what? As you'd expect from the title, robots do play a big part, and they look absolutely fantastic. The design, their overall presence in any scene, they demand that attention when paired with the actual actors on set. Underneath, though, all the chrome and circuits is a deeper look at control. Unfortunately for me, the ending does slightly undercut what comes before. Without spoilers, it's overwritten and a little underwhelming. Not enough to ruin the episode, but enough to dent it, and I feel like a lot of general audiences will feel the same. The episode tries to do something very clever, but I think it backfires and hits Russell in the face. One sequence in the episode that I think is really worth talking about, we get this sort of astral projection, alternate reality sort of effect throughout the episode where time is shifting, time is fracturing. We also get another sort of later sequence where colour plays a huge part. We get reds, we get blues. It all looks very visually stunning, and cooks up a visual feast, so I'll say. I think that's down to the direction of the episode perfectly. Just everything in general, this episode, we get a new planet, which has its own distinct theme and vibe, which looks really good. The sleek robot designs. There is also another different robot we get to see, who is a polish bot. Very cute. So overall, the production feels more polished than ever, if you'll ignore the pun. As well as Murray Gold, always being on top form. We get a new suite for these robots, which is really sort of synthy, supernatural, and a perfect blend of new and nostalgic for the show. Just a side note, we can't talk about robots in Doctor Who and not mention the Cybermen. This episode really gave me some major Cyberman vibes. I genuinely think the plot here and the overall episode could have been so much better if the Cybermen had been weaved into the story of sort of coercion, control, revolution, and really given it some better legs to stand on. It's been a while since we've had a solid Cyberman story. The haunting of Villa Diodati comes to mind. That was just absolutely fantastic until we got all the Cybermen, Time Lord variants, hybrids, whatever you want to call it. So let's not go there again, maybe, Doctor Who. But certainly seeing the Cybermen terrify us on a Saturday night, hiding behind the settee, just like in 2006, would be perfect again. And I'm sure Russell is dying to get his hands on more returning villains. Who knows, we might get some more this season. I'd love to see them return soon. They are still one of the show's most chilling villains, especially in the current age of AI. I think if Russell is really wanting to settle down and commit to a proper AI story, I think the Cybermen are going to be the perfect sort of tool for this. It was quite funny, actually. I watched the episode and then I watched Y2K starring Rachel Zegler the same sort of week, and even that could have been reworked as a Cyberman story. So maybe I was just in a real sort of Cyberman mood that week. But yes, so I'm just putting it out there, Russell. If you would even like me to come and write a Cyberman story, please reach out to me. Thank you. Next week, we are getting Vanessa Seitu's favourite episode of the season, Lux, and I'm already very excited for that one. If you haven't already, you can check our coverage of the Doctor Who Season 2 press conference with Varada and Ncuti, where I got to ask my very own question. The BBC's marketing for this series has been absolutely incredible. We've had custom idents on BBC. We've had Belinda and the Doctor showing up in various sort of BBC projects. Hey Dougie. There was some sort of wildlife one that they've showed up in the Queen Victoria in EastEnders. They've showed up in the Traitor's Castle. It is absolutely fantastic. And on top of that, we've had some really strong trailers. I would argue I'm more hyped for this season than I currently was for last season. Ignoring David Tennant and Catherine Tate coming back, because I think that was the most excited I've been for a TV show in a wild a wild duration of time. But I just think there is something really interesting about what Season 2 is going to try and do, and whether or not that lands is very interesting, and I really can't wait to see it. Obviously, we've got Ruby Sunday returning, Unit coming back, and new characters like Jonah Howard-King's Conrad Clark coming into play this season. And obviously, there is the mystery of why the Doctor can't return Belinda home. Something is happening on Earth, and I am so here for it. I can't wait for you guys to see this episode and see what is being teased. That brings an end to my review. In sort of conclusion, The Robot Revolution. It's vibrant, it's a thoughtful premiere that lays some really strong groundwork for what could be a more cohesive, emotionally challenged season with no road signs, hopefully. It stumbles in the final act with its very in-your-face antagonist. I will be diving more into this upon release of the episode over on popsnews.com. Purely because of spoiler reasons, I'm keeping this very spoiler-free. But Ncuti and Varada are electric together, and that's what makes it work. It's not the cleanest start, but it's definitely a promising one. Strong chemistry, bold themes, and classic Doctor Who spirits are all here for everyone to enjoy. I do wonder how this might have fared better paired with next week's looks, but for now, it's 3 stars from me. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you are liked, subscribed, and let us know in the comments what you're most excited for in the new season. You can keep up to date with all our coverage on popnews.com or on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.